If you'd like to take the same tour as me, please check the link in the description. For more videos like this or other tours in Vietnam, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. The Mekong Delta of Vietnam is a tropical river world, known for its bountiful harvests and vibrant cultural diversity. Each province of the Mekong Delta has its own unique flavor, colored by the many nationalities which have called it home. With flat roads and sprawling waterways, it is one of the easiest regions in the country to travel through, and the best place to see a lot in just a short amount of time. There's no denying that Vietnam is becoming one of the top destinations for foodie travelers. And in the Mekong Delta, we can push our curiosity to the limit. Being in the tropics, the first thing a hungry visitor will notice is the outstanding variety of fruits. Some you may be familiar with, and others I guarantee you'll see for the first time. A piece of advice: try them all. Even the fruits you recognize might surprise you by being sweeter than you remember. Because of all the fruit and other natural sweeteners, you'll notice that the cuisine leans on the sweeter side. But the dishes have all the complexity you've come to expect from Vietnamese food. The main driving force of the flavor profile in Vietnam is to have at least one ingredient for each of the 5 traditional elements: water, fire, earth, wood, and metal. So, when you begin to add up all the possible combinations, you see the endless buffet that awaits you. The second influence on food in the Mekong Delta, besides the tropical fruit, is obviously the river life. You can get fish everything. I'm not even a fan of fish, but I really liked all the different ways of cooking it here that make you forget you're eating fish. And as always, there's plenty to go around for the vegetarians in your group. When I traveled here, I was with the staff of a vegetarian restaurant who specifically came here to source ingredients for their restaurant. Unlike the Red River Delta in the north of Vietnam, which has been predominantly Vietnamese for thousands of years, the Mekong Delta has a blend of many cultures besides Vietnamese, including the Khmer, the Cham, and even the Chinese. In ancient times, the Khmer had a vast empire which encompassed parts of modern Vietnam. The sovereignty of these lands changed hands to the Vietnamese with a royal marriage, but the ethnic, linguistic, and cultural practices of the Khmer still remain in some parts. This includes their use of palm sugar and other parts of the palm tree, which is a staple of Khmer culture. And don't be surprised if you hear the Khmer language in the markets or villages, as it is the mother tongue of many Mekong Delta inhabitants. The Chinese influence on this region is also distinct from the north of Vietnam. Whereas the north got influence from China due to conquest and occupation, the Mekong has influence from Chinese immigrants, refugees from China who were escaping their own persecution. They developed a business class and built lavish houses and temples, which are now historic sites. The Cham people are also accounted for in the Mekong Delta, though in far fewer numbers than the Khmer or Chinese. Champa was a kingdom in the central and southern parts of modern Vietnam. Now, though, the Cham are a tiny minority. They are, however, the largest Muslim community in Vietnam, which gives the Mekong Delta one extra node of diversity. there are many easily accessible sites in the Mekong Delta to see the history and culture of the region. The cities here have preserved some of their most luxurious houses and temples that are over 100 years old. One in particular I found fascinating is called Om Temple, which was built by Chinese immigrants. This temple is a nice visit, as here you can contrast not only Vietnamese with Chinese-style temples, but also the old with the new. And to support the temple, you can send off a prayer by having an incense lit, which burns for 10 days. Another region which feels as if it should have been used for worship is the brick-making village of Mang Thit. These massive brick ovens look like ancient temples from a long-forgotten civilization, but most are less than 100 years old, and some are still in use to produce bricks. You can step inside some of the defunct ovens on a visit, and take a boat ride along the river to get some picturesque views. Near the city of Sadek, which for the food alone is worth the visit, is a temple with a unique feature. There are lotus leaves here so giant that a person can stand on them. The monk at this temple explained to me that the origin of the leaves is unknown. They mysteriously grew in the pond that filled in a crater made by bombings during the war. He claimed that this confirms a Buddhist teaching that from terrible things can come beautiful things if the followers are faithful. Finally, my favorite part of the Mekong Delta was the markets. Much ado is made about the floating markets, but I prefer the city markets, which are relatively tourist-free and where one can sample delights unimaginable. I'm a big fan of wandering around aimlessly and following my nose to the next treat. So these were easily the most memorable places for me in the whole Mekong Delta. Whether you stick to the normal tourist route or follow me off the beaten path, you'll no doubt see your fair share of new and interesting things in the Mekong Delta. And if you're anything like me, you'll have a few extra pounds around the midsection to show for it.